and welcome to Counterpulse. If you haven't found a chair, any available seat will do, and we will have a chance to move several times throughout the evening, so you don't have to worry about getting too attached to where you're sitting. Welcome, my name is Jessica Robinson Love. I'm the Executive and Artistic Director of Counterpulse, and along with Mary Armentrout, I'm the organizer of the Dance Discourse Project. Mary is going to tell you a little bit more about the Dance Discourse Project and about this evening's conversation. Beforehand, I just want to say thank you so much for being at Counterpulse. Now is a great time to turn off your cell phones. And we have a different exciting thing here. Yay! And the panelists too. We have a different exciting performance here almost every single weekend of the year. So if you're not already on our mailing list, be sure to fill out that part of your demographic survey, and we can get you on our mailing list and let you know about other exciting things that we have here. Mary and I sort of came up with the idea of the Dance Discourse Project several years ago. This is number 9. As a way to get really the dance community in the Bay Area talking about what we do, what we think about what we do, and how we do it. So it's really for us to sort of rev up the discussion beyond I liked that or I didn't like that. And we've experimented with different formats over the course of this sort of program, and I think we found one that we really like. So what's going to happen this evening is that our panelists, who are also our conversation instigators, are going to spend a little bit of time talking about their background and relationship to the subject. We're going to ask them a few questions up here, and then we're going to go to the tables, and each table is going to discuss a different question, and we'll talk about those questions in a moment, which is why I said you'll have a chance to have musical chairs, because you'll get to move to a different table, and you'll actually be forced to move tables once during the discussion. So you'll get 20 minutes of conversation, move to another table, another 20 minutes of conversation, and then we'll come back together and pass around the microphone and talk about questions that came up. After that, please don't leave, because we have wine and snacks and a chance to speak informally amongst ourselves. So that's what you can expect this evening, and I'm going to turn it over to Mary Armentrout.
Hello. Hello. Thanks, Jessica. So my name is Mary Armentrout, and yes, I am one of the co-instigators of this Dance Discourse Project. And I just want to say a few words to orient us for this particular one, Dance Discourse Project number 9, which is called Dance and Somatics in the Bay Area, What's the Connection? Which is actually a subject very dear to my heart, because I am a experimental contemporary choreographer who's also getting her Feldenkrais certification. So these are two things that I think about together a lot in my life. And the reason I'm actually getting my Feldenkrais certification is because I feel like this somatic thing the somatic practice is a really potent creative tool for choreography, for dance and art creation, which is a slightly different tack, I think, than some people might take. But so as I was starting to put this DDP together and trying to figure out who should be the panelists and what we should talk about and how it should work out, I kind of noticed that there were two themes that kept coming up. And I will just lay those out, and perhaps they are themes that we will all run into during the course of the evening. And one of them is that there is actually a huge amount of somatic activity going on in the Bay Area, and always has been historically. It's really kind of a hotbed of somatic activity, as some of you who are here may know about. And there's actually quite a bit of connection to the Bay Area dance scene. It's not been a completely disconnected situation at all. There have been a lot of historic connections, and there are a lot more that are being forged even right now in this room and elsewhere. So that's the one thing. On the other hand, the other thing is that there's still many, many, many people out there who are kind of like, what is somatics? Could you please tell me what that word means? So I think that it's really interesting, and I think that together we will probably all come to hopefully some more clarification or problematization of that word tonight. And that's partly what I'm looking for. It just also, as I was thinking about this large topic, I just wanted to mention that it seems to me that globally the impact of somatics on dance in the last 30 years has been actually really huge. It's clear that it's this kind of very potent engine for dance innovation in all sorts of areas, in the areas of technique, areas of art making. It's in the relationship between dance and social change. And you can look at the work of Trisha Brown, for example, or this new technique called Gaga, which is coming out of Israel, as very interesting examples from elsewhere. We'll get into a little bit more of the local stuff that I feel is probably related in certain ways. So tonight I'm hoping that we'll be able to look closely at some of the things that are happening in the Bay Area that are similar and yet different, that are really Bay Area organic growth, but in this kind of region. And then I just wanted to add that I think that hopefully we will also tonight be able to clarify what that fuzzy term somatics might mean, can mean, will mean, all of the different meanings that we're going to put to it. And so yeah, that's what we're going to do. So with that in mind, I want to introduce our three panelists who are going to talk in their own unique ways about the relationship of dance and somatics for them. And first off, we're going to start with Carol Swann, who is one of the co-founders and co-directors of Moving On Center, a school of participatory arts and somatic research, which exists in Oakland and New York.
Start? Oh, wow. I thought you were going to go introduce all of us. Okay. So I need to say I'm going to read because I wrote this. I just got back after teaching for a month in Europe, and I'm jet lagging so badly, and my brain is out. And I just got back a couple days ago, so it's not very somatic, particularly, but I'll do my best. I'll do my best. So I'll start off by saying that my passion is social and political transformation, and that I see somatics as an essential social change tool, and I came to somatics via dance and my own personal healing. My story in somatics begins related to growing up in an alternative community that my parents founded for the study of nonviolence and political direct action on a rural farm in Connecticut. This lifestyle, including farming, had an enormous and inspirational impact on me. International folk dancing and folk singing were an integral part of this world and became my passion. On a personal note, I want to tell you that I had a dream one night when I was 6 years old, and that was imagining if all the people in the world could dance and sing together, there would be no more wars. Fast forward to 1977, I was introduced to contact improvisation. I felt like I had come back home again. However, it was also how I quickly became injured, which led me to the Alexander technique, my first awareness of somatics, although the name somatics was not yet known or understood. It was also during that period that I was introduced to and began studying with Bonnie Bainbridge Cohen, John Rowland, Andre Bernard, and a couple of these people I think Kathy's going to talk about, so I'm not. Janet Adler, who developed authentic movement and release technique. These were the times when a lot of the contemporary somatic work, quote unquote, in the fields of body awareness, and many more I'm not even mentioning, were being developed and were having influences in the new dance scene. Fast forward again, and I was in New York in 1981, performing, developing my own somatic voice work, and being executive director of movement research, one of the leading alternative dance scenes in New York. This was an extraordinary education and exposure, as you can imagine. 1986, I moved to Berkeley, California. Yay. And I continued to train in various other somatic systems. I continued with the Alexander technique. I became a teacher, Hakomi body-mind psychotherapy, process work, Arnold Mendel's work, Laban Bartenieff movement studies, and now currently I'm back studying with Bonnie Cohen, who lives in the area. I went on to co-found with Martha Eddy in 1994. My earlier dream was starting an educational training program, Moving On Center's School of Participatory Arts and Somatic Research, which bridges somatics and the performing arts for social change.